I just ate a really big schnitzel. I shouldn't have done that. I'm really fascinated with animals, or kinds of animals, especially the strange looking ones. I mean, when you think about it, most animals look pretty strange. I mean, just look at this thing. I'm especially fascinated with the ocean, because there's still so much left to discover. I mean, we know so little about the different species that might still swim around in there. And so as an artist, it's really nice to, think about and imagine what might lurk beneath the surface. And so I gave it some thought, and I came up with some really crazy concepts, and one stuck with me, and I just went with it. Now, I did a drawing of some weird underwater creature before. You can look that up on my Instagram. It's gonna be linked in the description. Just a quick look. This is what I came up with. Looks kind of crazy, doesn't it? But it's a lot of ink, as you could see. It's really filled up the entire page. It was a lot of work, but I thought, it's Inktober after all, and Spooktober, so let's draw something creepy with ink. But more about all of that later. Like a lot of good projects, this project came to my mind because of boredom, mostly. When you're just sitting there, you're just sketching something, or you're doodling, you're scribbling away, and it's one of the best ideas, come to mind. And maybe out of all of these scribbles and sketches, there might emerge something that you can use and forge into an actual drawing, like I did here. Now, the paper that you're seeing there that I'm using, it's really nice. It's really great to use with ink. It's meant to be like a, sketch paper. We just, do some sketching on it with charcoal or whatever. But I'm using it for ink mostly because it's really good. It's a thick paper. It doesn't bleed through, which is why I use it for sketchbooks. When I bind myself a sketchbook, which I do kind of often because I fill them up fairly quickly. I use this kind of paper because it doesn't bleed through, so it's really good. Now I'm starting off with the diver because it's the thing that I want to be the most accurate, at least anatomically, because it's gonna be in the foreground. It's not gonna be as detailed as the strange creature that I'm drawing right now, or right next to it, but the diver needs to be the most accurate because it's gonna be in the foreground, and even though it's not gonna be that detailed, it needs to be accurate because it's a human being, it's a person, and he's in a strange pose because he's like just floating on the water. And if something's off about a human form or a human posture, our brains are so trained to see a figure or just to see humans, that if there's something off about it, you might notice immediately. And so I wanted that to be out of the way, and then I could start drawing my strange fish-like things. And since I'm not using a computer, I'm not doing this in digital, I can't just move the things on the paper around, and so I'm just tracing it, as you can see, because I want to move everything a little bit more up. And generally before I go in with ink, I like to make like another copy of my drawing, just because, if I mess up the ink part or whatever, then I can go back in and start over. And it's just easy. If something is a little bit too big or a little bit too small or too far up or down or whatever, you can move it around fairly easy by just doing what I'm doing right here. It's a lot of work, and my arm was really tired, but yeah, doesn't matter. It's when you're not using digital media, it's just not that easy to just press Control Z and everything will go back the way it was. So I like to do 2 drawings. So yeah, and as you can see, the diver and the other thing are just a little bit more up than on the original sketch. And the original sketch is gonna go into my folder that you see right here. And there are a lot of cool drawings in here. You can see this werewolf thing, for example, in another video. I'm gonna link it on the upper right corner, and some other drawings in this folder that I'm not shown right here, you can see on my Instagram, which is also gonna be linked in the description below. Now starting on with the ink, which is the most fun part because you can really see your drawing coming to life, you know, all the lines really merging, and you can erase the pencil and you will be left with a clean drawing of, you know, whatever it is that came to your mind. Well, maybe you noticed if you had a look at my Instagram that I did a similar drawing before I did this drawing. Another drawing with a diver and some weird sea creature. I like these things, you know, I like weird creatures, I like animals in general. And I'm really, you know, fascinated with the deep sea and what might swim around beneath the surface, and I like to look at these weird videos, you know, where they show some new strange creature that has been discovered in the abyss, just floating around there, chilling. It's really cool. And it's just so, you know, so cool as an artist to imagine what might swim around down there. And believe me, when you're interested in this topic and in this sort of thing, and you do some research, you look at some videos, some photographs, or some books, whatever, you will find that there's way more strange stuff swimming around down there than you might think, and stuff that's way creepier and stranger than what I'm drawing right here. Although I think when it comes to creepiness and weirdness, this is a little bit hard to top, but believe me there. And even if we don't know anything yet that might look stranger than that, there's always a bigger fish, to quote Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars. Starting out with the eyes in this creature, or I started out with drawing the eyes on that creature, or eyes, or whatever they might are. And that's also something cool about this, you know, this creature designs, because you know, you can just imagine what it is. Like, maybe who says that it's, you know, it's eyes? Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's, you know, the brain, or some weird sensors, or whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be eyes. I mean, it's the first thing that you might think about, but yeah, who says it's gonna be the eyes? Who says that? Now, going on with drawing the, you know, the actual creature, doing the shading, I wanted it to have like a, you know, like a little texture to it. I wanted it to have a certain texture to it, and I wanted to make sure that the inside of the mouth that I'm drawing here is, you know, looking darker and especially flashier in a way. You know, so there's a clear difference between the skin on the outside and the inside of the mouth. So it just looks a little bit more softer and wetter, and I mean wetter. it's already on the water, but you know, just a little bit more flashier and softer. So there's a clear difference between the outer skin. And I drew on the teeth, and I don't want it to shade every tooth individually, but you know, at least wanted them to look a little bit more 3D. And the inside of the mouth I even drew in with, you know, edding, which is like basically a Sharpie or like an industrial permanent marker, something like that. So it's really dark in there, because that's, you know, that's where our diver friend might end up. I mean, I don't hope that it's gonna end up in there for him. Maybe, I mean, who says that these creatures are you know, hostile? Maybe they're just really nice. You know, I mean, they look creepy and they have huge mouths that could immediately devour our little diver friend here in the foreground. But who says that they are hostile? You know, maybe they're just really nice. Maybe they just want to chat. We might never know. That's up to the imagination. That's great about these strange drawings. And I also apologize if the sound of the mic is maybe a little bit shifting, you know, because I'm constantly moving back and forth from the mic. I hope that's not too distracting or whatever. But I just like to move around when I'm talking. I'm the kind of person who cannot sit still when he's talking, you know. I constantly have to move my arms, my fingers, or I just like to gesture a lot when I'm drawing. What the fuck? When I'm talking, I like to gesture a lot when I'm talking. That can be really distracting, and I notice that in other people, you know, when they look at me because I'm talking to them, and then I move my arms or my fingers, and they just look at my fingers instead of my face or my arm. That's also really distracting for me, and I notice that I might have to put it down a notch, or turn it down a notch, you say. Yeah, but now a little word from our friend Real Life Lawrence. No, I've been working on this drawing for a long time, and it's about 7 minutes or something before midnight, which means that in 7 minutes I'm gonna turn 21, which is pretty cool, but also kind of, I don't know, it's a lot to to think about. So I've been working on this thing for a long time, for basically the whole day and the day before that, and so yeah. Quick look at myself. Pretty cool. 21 in 6 minutes or something. I'm tired. Yeah, beautifully said, Lawrence. Really cool. Now this drawing took me a long time. Like always, I think I say that in every video. Every drawing takes me a long time. But yeah, I'm a slow drawer. I take a long time to finish a piece because I want to make sure that everything is right, and you know, it's just something that takes a little while. It takes a little while, and you know, that's good because I enjoy it. I enjoy drawing, and even though it gets really, you know, I get really tired after a while, you know, and I just, you know, maybe want to get up and go around or smoke a cigarette or whatever. I also need that because I need to refocus. I can't just sit there for hours and work on a single drawing. I just can't do that. I need some, you know, something to focus my mind on other than drawing for a while. After I've been sitting there for a certain amount of time, I just get tired of it. And, you know, like every process, it's work. You know, you have to work on it. And even though I enjoy it, sometimes it feels a little like work. And when it starts feeling like work, I really should turn it down a notch, because it should be fun after all, and I don't want to be too harsh to myself. Now that I'm finished with the shading and the texture and everything, I will go into the most fun and the most messy part, which I'm always looking forward to, which is to come in with some liquid ink and just do the background. Just make it black, as you can see right here. It's so satisfying to see that sped up. I think I didn't record everything of it. Unfortunately, I didn't. I should have recorded much more of that, because I think it just looks so cool, sped up. But in the end, I didn't record it that much because I think it's boring, you know. I went over this drawing like 3 or 4 times with liquid ink to make sure that it's really, really dark, really black, that you don't see any pencil strokes. Brush strokes or whatever. So I went over it like 3 or 4 times with ink to make sure that it's really dark, and this paper, as I said in the beginning, absorbs ink really well. I'm really glad that I found this paper. Here I even have like this aqua pen that you've seen, also great, and I worked with different kinds of ink. I think like 3 or 4 different kinds of ink, and I went over the entire drawing 3 or 4 times. I didn't record all of it, but as you can see in the finished product, it looks really dark. It's really blacked out, you know, like one of those blackout tattoos. I just wanted to make sure that you can't see any brush strokes, that there's nothing left. Yeah, but yeah, I hope you liked the finished product. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more content, and check out my Instagram, my Redbubble, and all the other links in the description below. And I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.